G'day guys, Dave here from the Alpine Nomad YouTube channel. Today we're going to be reviewing the 23Zero Dakota Rooftop Tent. I'll walk you through how to set it up, all the details, how everything works. We'll talk about the pros and cons, and is it actually a tent worth the money? So I've had the 23Zero Dakota Rooftop Tent for about 9 months now. I've used it solo, with the family, we've toured Tasmania, it's done thousands of Ks. Overall, I'd say this is a really good rooftop tent. I don't think you're going to be disappointed if you buy this tent. The question is it the right tent for you? And there's a couple of little quirks about it as well that you need to know about. In terms of setup, the first thing you want to do is open all your car doors, so you've just got a bit more access to the tent. And the trick here to get a fast setup is to minimise the amount of time you spend walking around the tent. In order to do that, you want to do all the stuff you have to do on each corner as you go around. So first step, you've got to take off these ladder straps. You want to start off the zip. And you need to walk all the way around. First mistake I've already made. So this is what I was saying about minimising the time you spend walking around the car. Do all the things you have to do on each side. So you undo the zip, and then you want to undo this little strap, which is holding it down. There's 2 of those on each side of the tent. Undo that second strap on that side. No, there's 3 straps on this side actually. Lift the corner over while you're here as well. Okay, so now for this part, pull the ladder all the way out so all the segments are locked. So it just saves the tent sort of flying down on you when you roll it out. So you can feel that's locked. The trick with these ladders, you want them fully compressed at the top section and extended at the bottom. So, like that. So obviously that's all the way down. That's a little bit too steep. The ladder, that's a little bit difficult to get down when it's that steep. You can't have it on too much of an angle either. So I basically take it in all the way and then just let one of the segments out. So leaving them compressed at the top like that. So that's locked in. So I basically just take it until it's hanging under its own weight and it's loose. And then I just cinch it up, maybe just 1 centimetre or 2, so that the weight of the tent is actually supported by the ladder. So next step now is to open the door awning. So it's just an aluminium pole that hinges out. And then you've got 2 little clamps. You undo those, that can extend. Get that to fully extend, clamp it back in, and then that's done. So now that the tent is set up like this is actually the minimum amount of setup you can do. This is what I would call the lazy way, and how I usually set it up as well. So you can see here that the windows aren't set up, they're just hanging. There's no guy ropes on the awning here, which is, if it's not windy, then that's fine. There's an optional pole which you can set up. Better to have that if it's windy. And also the cover, I've not bothered taking that off. That's just hanging, which if you're not going in and out of your car is fine. It's just a little bit quicker and easier. If you want to take that off, that just slides straight out and you just slide it out of that sail track and then you can just store it under the car. Another thing to note with tent is when you do take this cover off, there's a little Velcro strip that just goes over and covers these hinges, because otherwise that's actually an open point into your tent. So this Velcro strap, the purpose of that is basically just to enclose that area so that it's all fully closed up. The other thing I haven't set up is this back window here. That's just left slack like that. So that setup is fine. If it's not windy and you just want a quick camp and you're lazy like me, then that's all you need to do. One comment to make about the tent is if it's raining, it does pull a fair bit of water on the roof unless you've got all of the ropes, the guy ropes tied down for the front awning, and that just pulls taut the roof. So as you can see, there's some pockets where water would accumulate, and pulling this down, that kind of straightens that out. So this is the extension pole for the awning on the front door. So you put it next to it, and then there's a little hole that goes through. So it just stops in the wind, this bouncing upwards. So here's the other window rods. Let's take a look at those. So they're colour coded, so you've got 2 with red ends, 4 with black ends. The red ones are a lot thicker. So the window rods just plug into little holes in the base of the tent here. So with these windows, you've got 2 options. You can either put these rods in and extend the windows out, or you can actually roll up the window to get it out of the way. There's 2 toggles and they just clip in to the loops. I really like this option because then you can actually see out of the tent, but the one drawback is you can't actually fold the tent up with these windows rolled up. You can, but it's really difficult. The cover just bulges out. It doesn't really work. So as you can see here, the windows are only about half the height of the wall of the tent. So a little bit of a drawback. If you're sitting up like I am now, you can't really see out. If you want to get some view, you really actually need to be laying down. A little trick to make these a bit easier to put in is you actually thread the loop, thread the end without the hook through first. Put that into the hole. And then you just slide that up. It's a lot easier. It's a reasonable bit of view out the window now. If you're in a hot climate and you want to keep the windows open but shield from the rain, these are actually really good windows for that. Because the overhang with the fly is actually quite a long distance. I'd say it's probably 60 centimetres. So you're not going to get any rain coming in for sure. Okay, so just taking a look at the back of the tent now. You can see here, this is your fly sheet, which goes over the top of the tent. Then you've got what is basically like a door, although there's no ladder brackets here, so you can't really use it as a door, but you can open it up and put gear into it quite easily. Okay, now let's take a look inside. So the tent comes with a light. It's a little LED light that clips onto the pole at the top and has a USB connector. So you just plug a power bank into it and it doesn't use a lot of power at all. It's got 3 settings as well. So bright white, sort of a mid, and then a warm white. And then obviously you can dim it as well. Okay, in terms of interior, one of the best things about this tent is the mattress. I think it's really comfortable. I wouldn't call it a memory foam, but it's a fairly soft foam and it does conform to the shape of your body. So I find it's really good. I do like a firm mattress as well though. So some people might not like this mattress. I've seen comments online, people complaining. But for my wife, she likes a really soft mattress and she's happy with this. So even though it's a firm mattress, I think it's soft enough that I think most people will be happy with it. You've got 2 little moon roofs. That's good for ventilation, or if you want light as well to come into the tent. Or if you take that fly off and you want to look at the stars, then you can open these up. The structure of the tent, you've got 3 poles on a hinge, and then those poles have got a nice fabric covering on them. So once again, I think it's pretty premium. They've added a lot of nice little features to this tent. Storage pockets are awesome. You've got a pocket there for your power supply and another one in the opposite corner as well. So depending on which end your head's at, that light switch will be accessible. We've also got smaller pockets down here for your phone or keys or whatever you're going to put in there. And on this side, the same thing. One thing that this tent is missing though, it doesn't have Velcro straps which pull the sides in. A lot of tents have a little Velcro strap that you can unhook once you're in the tent, but when you want to pack it up, you hook it back on, and then when you fold it up, all that fabric comes in with it, and you don't have to spend 5 minutes tucking fabric in on a tent. The zips are really good on this tent. They're just smooth, and the toggles are really easy to grab. You don't have to look at what you're doing, which is good in the dark. Same for the windows. You've got the inner blackout material first. You unzip that, then you've got a fly screen, and then obviously this is your fly. The performance of the blackout is really good. It is absolutely pitch black when you zip everything up. I think what people don't realise though is it's not actually that practical. When you zip everything up 100% and sleep in here, you've got no real ventilation in the tent. And I've tried it, and you will get heaps of condensation, like it'll be running down the walls. So in practice, you need to have some windows open anyway, and then you end up getting some light in. So it's never going to be 100% blackout. But in terms of condensation performance, compared to other tents, I don't think it's any better or worse. So you can roll up the door, and having that little rod at the bottom of the door actually makes that a lot easier. You're not meant to roll it up that way. You're meant to roll up the door without the fly screen mesh, but it can still be done. You lose the view, but that door awning is really good for poor weather. Obviously, if there's tons of rain, you can leave that open, still get a lot of ventilation. You can get into your tent, you can shelter a little bit. In terms of installation, it's pretty easy. Once again, 23Zero have given you a lot of extras with it. There's a nice little bag that comes with the tent that has the tools. You keep your guy ropes in. It even comes with a 10mm ratchet spanner, which makes it a lot easier when you're doing up the nuts, trying to install it on your roof. Installation on the roof is pretty much standard for a rooftop tent. You've just got C-clamps, all thread and nuts, and basically you just do those up around your roof crossbars. So you can see here. The metal bars that go underneath your roof racks, they're actually rubber coated, so that's a really nice touch. It makes them stick on a little bit better. Feels like you're not damaging things as well. In terms of the setup and the pack down, it's easy to do with one person. The setup takes about 8 minutes from timing myself. That's without me putting on all the bells and whistles like all the window bars and the guy ropes. That's just a quick setup. I think 8 minutes is pretty good. That's probably quicker than a lot of other rooftop tents, a lot of ground tents. If you want super fast setup though, you probably need a hard shell rooftop tent. Performance in the wind and the rain. We've had this tent in plenty of rain. We've never had a leak. We've also had it in really windy conditions down in Tasmania. It was probably 40, 50 knot winds, I would say. It was epic. I've actually never experienced such wind before. In that case, yeah, nothing happened with the tent, nothing tore, nothing broke. I did notice that there was a lot of flapping around though, and a lot of noise from the tent, which was annoying. You just need to prepare for that by tying down everything, putting on the guy ropes, and then securing the loose straps. So as you can see on the back here, these are the ladder straps, and they're fixed onto the tent, so you can't really do much with those. What I do is I just chuck them in the car and then close the door, and then that minimises, can't really go anywhere and flap around in that case. When we were in Tassie, we didn't do that, and they were banging around, hitting on the car, making a hell of a racket, probably denting things as well. I've never had any issues with dust. The cover is quite substantial, it zips all the way around. We've never had any dust or water getting into the tent when it's in transit. The size of the tent, it's 2400mm, 2.4 metres by 1.6 metres. So this is the 1600 model. You can also get a 1400. I think you can go up in size a fair bit as well. There might be an 1800 and a 2200 possibly. We chose the 1600 because that's the biggest tent you can get that will fit over the bed of a ute. At the time I was going to mount it over the bed, so we chose this one. We also wanted one that was big enough for the family, and you can actually fit quite a few people in this tent. We're a family of 5. We've got 3 small kids, 10, 6 and 5. We've managed to camp a few times in this tent with all of us up there. It's not super comfortable, it's shoulder to shoulder, but it can be done. I prefer to just roll out a swag on the ground though. But I would say if you're a couple with a teenage child, have plenty of room, you'll be super comfortable. Or if you're a family with 2 small kids, there's more than enough room in the 1600 for you. One of the things I like about this tent, being a soft shell tent, is the weight. It's about 64 kilos, which for the size of it is actually pretty good. I really didn't want to add too much weight to the roof of the car, especially when you're 4-wheel driving and handling does matter. We've added the shoe bag accessories. They were like $60. They're definitely worth having. Just big pockets basically to put your shoes in. So when you climb up the tent, you're not bringing your shoes into making the tent dirty, and you've got easy access in those bags. I think you can also get a kitchen bag and maybe some other ones as well. They just slide into the sail track here. So pretty easy to install. Another little trick I found is this strap here is actually for the ladder, which you tuck the ladder in. You can see here the ladder sits on these foam blocks. Tuck the ladder in and cinch that strap up. I found that it's actually just really good as a clothesline. Can you store your bedding in this rooftop tent? So you can see there with the 2 floor pieces, you've got a bit of space between the mattress. You can store a sleeping bag and maybe a thin pillow, but I found it does make it harder to actually fold the tent up. So the answer is yes, but only minimal. Another little hack to make things easier on the ladder. Once again, it comes with all the bells and whistles, and it's got this little strap to hold the ladder. I just don't put it on because it's another annoying thing you have to set up. So when you're packing it up, you've got to tuck in all this fabric, which is a bit annoying. So you can see how much there is. There's not really anywhere to put it. It's really difficult actually, because there's just nowhere to force it in. Same on this side. These cinch straps, I just don't see the need for having 2 on this side. There's a hinge there anyway, so there's no way that that side can move. It's only this end, and this thing's rigid, so I would say you just need 1 on each corner, 2, and then none on the sides. But still, these are minor things. I think it's just, you could really improve it. I think to 23Zero's credit, they've tried to do everything with this tent. You can see that they've added everything, and maybe it's just a bit over-engineered. So that's the 23Zero Dakota Rooftop Tent. All in all, it's a really good tent. I think most people would be really happy with it. The best thing is the quality. It's really well thought out. There's a lot of little extras, but that's also the worst thing. All those little extras make it just harder to pack up, harder to set up, and the windows could be better. I'd really love it if you could just get an awesome view out of the tent by just unzipping a window. I think the tent could be really improved with those things, but 23Zero have gone to a lot of effort, I think, with this tent, and it's definitely a good one.